I'm Leslie. I'm a mom of 3 and a bunch of other things.
And I'm Candy. I'm a drag queen.
And we both like creating things, learning about stuff, and getting inspired by the world around us.
Yeah. And I'm stoned AF.
La la Leslie and the drag queen, yeah. La Leslie, and the drag queen.
Candy, what are you doing?
Oh, no.
Is that what I think it is, young lady?
It's a pen. I had to sign a couple checks.
Uh-huh. And do you usually sign them by putting them in your mouth first and coughing vigorously
An oral
afterwards?
fixation. Leslie, I feel completely justified in smoking this, what for me is medical marijuana, so it is legal. And also, it's very in line with today's special guest.
That is very true.
In the name, it's in her name, Laganja Estranja.
That's right. Our first guest. And you were just getting in the mood.
Yeah,
I should have grabbed one of my gummies. I didn't get the memo.
So wait, you didn't know that? You didn't? Oh gosh, great. Now I'm stoned. I'm not going to be able to conduct the interview. You didn't know.
Okay. It's gonna be fine.
It's
You're
just
gonna be
that
in
one
good
of
company.
us is less, whatever this is.
You getting your nails on? Getting ready for
I don't
our
have my
first
nails
guest?
on yet, and it makes me feel like I'm not all the way myself. I've got them all laid out here. I just need to find thumbnails. And
What
by
color
that,
are we going with today?
it's kind of, everything is pretty much jeweled, like bejeweled, bejazzled, vajazzled.
Mhm. I was gonna say it better be vajazzled or I'm
Yeah.
out.
Oh, well, she's got a high standard, folks, that she holds me to. And
Yes, I do.
And a high voltage fence around the property that she holds me on.
I told you not to talk about that. I'm taking away your pen now.
Oh, damn it!
Well, Candy, while you do that and get your nails on, I'm just gonna tell everyone about our guest, Laganja Estranja.
Okay.
Because she has a pretty dang impressive bio here that I was checking out.
She's no joke.
No joke. Okay. Jay Jackson, aka Laganja Estranja, is a world-renowned choreographer, artist, cannabis advocate, and LGBTQ plus icon.
Absolutely.
She got her BFA degree in dance and choreography from the California Institute of Arts and launched to stardom after being selected to compete on season 6 of Rupaul's Drag Race. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear about that. I've seen clips. Since then, Laganja has rooted herself as an established entrepreneur, renowned choreographer, and industry-revered talent.
She can dance.
What?
No, she
She
dance.
can.
And she's done like legendary, like iconic dance moments that like just live in the zeitgeist forever. Like on one of these episodes of Drag Race where she made a guest appearance, she literally like death dropped from the ceiling. Like she death dropped.
I saw it.
Into the splits.
Yes, I watched that and my 43-year-old self was like, her knees, her knees. Okay, hang on. There's more. Her television and film credits include, of course, RuPaul's Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, Heidi Klum's Queen of Drags, So You Think You Can Dance, Latin American Music Awards, Germany's Next Top Model, and it just goes on and on. America's Got Talent, MTV Video Music Awards. I can't even name all of them.
Yeah, no.
She's legit.
We scored a real
I
celebrity.
know.
We bagged one. And now she's going to live in the basement with me.
Okay, I'll let her. I think I can widen the enclosure a little bit and we'll fit her in there with you.
The enclosure.
You got to share your pin though.
Fine, I will share. If it's Laganja. Oh, you meant my pen, and I thought you meant like a pig pen. Like I have to.
No.
Okay, but you have to share your trough.
You're like, that's a little bit. Iffy, Leslie, but okay. No, I meant
You gotta share your pen.
I'm not making more than one bucket of slop. That's all I know.
y'all get one bucket of slop. Oh
Bucket
goodness.
of slop.
Let's just see what happens. See what happens.
You got to contain yourself
I'm gotta.
Laganja.
I mean, but do I? She's a cannabis advocate. She's probably completely.
I know. It's going to be okay. You're beyond words. You're so excited. We're all excited. So everyone, please welcome to Leslie and the Drag Queen, Laganja Estranja.
Hi, what's
Well,
going
I'm so
on?
glad you're here. Thank you for joining us and
Absolutely.
making time. I know it was a little crazy with your schedule, but
Hey, it's all good. I'm here. We're ready to do it. So let's do it.
Let's
awesome.
go away. So, what was going on today? You were auditioning?
Yes, auditioning for a new original musical called Misstep that I'm actually co-choreographing.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
So what was the audition today? Was it
We did it all, acting, singing, and dancing.
nice?
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm a dancer and singer
Yeah, it
and
was
actress
fun.
and all that. I'm not fishing for a part, I promise, because I'm way too far away. But I told Candy, I was like, I wish she could just put it on speaker so I can hear what they're saying after the auditions. I've always wanted to be a fly on the wall to hear how it goes down, like how they decide who's getting called back, who is
Totally.
definitely in.
Well, everyone on the
Just
team is really nice, so it was a kind environment, that's for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, Laganja, tell us about you. Tell us your story. Start from the beginning and go to where you are now.
Sure. Well, I began my career in the entertainment industry when I was about 7 years old. My parents tried me at most sports as a young adolescent, but they just never really took off. It was nothing I was really interested in. And when my parents finally moved me into a dance studio where I had air condition and other girls to be around and a mirror at which to stare up at myself, things just finally clicked. And I think the rest is really history from that point because I was so involved in musical theater at a very young age, it really took up most of my free time. When I wasn't in school, I was always involved in community and regional theater. And eventually, around the age of 14, I got an agent and started working more professionally. I got to be an extra on Barney. I did a Sprite commercial. I traveled with a musical that's called The Will Rogers Follies, which starred Larry Gatlin, who was a very famous country star a long time ago. But so I really got my toes wet at a very young age, and I knew that when I went to high school, I wanted to go to a performing arts high school. So I was really lucky my sophomore year that I got to go to Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, where I feel like I really honed in on my entertainment skills as a baby adult, if you will. And that eventually led me to go and get my BFA in dance and choreography at the California Institute of the Arts. And it was there that I really discovered, more so than I did in high school, my love of choreography, specifically for contemporary dance. But I also, really discovered that I had this love for being a queen and dressing up and expressing myself in very vibrant ways that I really didn't feel like as myself I could do. So when I graduated college, I did an amateur contest in West Hollywood as Laganja Estranja, and I ended up winning that contest. And what that meant was that I would be a regular showgirl in that cast's production every Monday night. So
How old
I
were
always
you
say, in
when
a
that
way, that was in 2012. So I was probably like 21, 22.
Oh my God.
So I always say that drag chose me. I did not choose drag because this wasn't the plan at all. I really wanted to start my own dance company out of college and, try to make my way back to New York and begin auditioning for musicals. But drag really took off for me. And about a year later, I was able to get on Rupaul's Drag Race. And that really changed the trajectory of my path as someone in the entertainment industry. And I'm
Yeah, I imagine.
very grateful that, you know, I've seen the world. I've got to travel performing, and, you know, as much as I love musical theater, it's been so nice to be in control of my work and not have to do the same musical
Yes.
7 days a week for weeks on end. And I'm able to choose my own music, choose my own mood. And that's why I really think at the end I fell back in love with drag, which is where I'm at now. I was looking to sort of change my career about 3 years back. In fact, I was going to leave LA, move to Denver, start all over. But about 3 days before I was supposed to leave, I found the house that I still currently live in now. And it just felt like a sign
Mm.
from the universe that I was meant to stay in LA and I was meant to continue pursuing this career. So that leads you up to where we are now, which is that I work mostly as a drag queen, but that I'm really focused on shaping my career in a different direction, especially moving forward as we go into 2023, looking at bringing back more of the choreography side into the whole brand of Laganja Estranja.
So that dance is really, out of all the musical theater experience you've had, that dance is still kind of your first love, you feel like?
Yeah, I feel like for me, dance is truly a universal language. You know, I've seen, you know, since coming off of RuPaul's Drag Race and traveling the world, you know, Bianca won my season, and she's a very skilled performer. But at the end of the day, if you don't speak English, sometimes her jokes don't land. Whereas
Right.
with myself, I'm able to go anywhere and do my, you know, signature entrance move of the dip, and everybody, no matter where they are, react. And so that's why I say I believe that dance is truly the most universal language, because it is the language of movement, the language of the body. And so that's why I'm so deeply passionate about it. I've been able to, you know, teach many master classes over the year. And even with just one master class, and seeing a beginner come into my class and having them leave feeling like a superstar, it's a really powerful medicine, this idea of, you know, kinetic energy and moving the body to release endorphins.
Completely. I love it. I feel that so much. I miss dancing regularly. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Did you start off always in contemporary, like when you were little, or did you kind of do a little bit of everything?
Well, I definitely started off in musical theater. That was the main focus as a young adolescent. But I think very early on, my parents realized in order for me to be a well rounded performer, that I needed to have ballet, jazz, and tap. So I definitely started, like I said, around 7, studying all the dance forms. But I would say that contemporary didn't really speak to me until I was in high school, and I went to an art school where I joined a company known as Rep 2, and we would perform very reputable choreographers' work. And that's where I
Mm,
really think I started to shift into my love of contemporary movement.
that's interesting that it didn't open up till later, but I could see that because you have to have like a little bit more freedom and like comfort in your own body to do contemporary that's not so restrictive. So I
Yeah.
could see like high school being a little bit more
I think contemporary
conducive
dance
to that.
definitely requires a little bit more intellect. I think, you know, musical
Mm,
theater is often fun and showy, which obviously I love being. But as a choreographer, there's something about really being able to dive into metaphors and go really in depth with movement as that form of language that just, it really excites me. And it also really challenges me. And I'm the type of person that if I'm not being challenged, then I don't usually like the task at hand.
yeah.
Which explains why you do so many different things, like
Oh,
jumping from
Lord,
art form to art
yes.
form. Because so, as far as making music, now, was that something that happened after you had gotten into drag, or was that something that you were doing before drag?
Definitely drag sparked the idea of making music. I
Mhm.
think, again, because musical theater is my background, I've always loved to sing and perform vocally. But it wasn't really until I became Laganja Estranja and saw that I had this opportunity to make my own music as opposed to lip sync to other pop divas, that I really started to kind of start to dream. You know, I think it's been a lifelong dream of mine to be a pop star. And, you know, people like Kim Petras recently, who have opened up, you know, the doors for entertainers such as myself, it really gives me hope. And it's definitely going to be my focus, my main focus for 2023 is building out the music and having people understand, because I think I've finally got people wrapped around the idea that I'm both a drag queen and a choreographer. So now the next step is to get people to understand that I'm also a musician.
You're like, look, I do everything, okay? Don't try to pigeonhole me
Well,
because
not exactly everything, but I definitely do as much as I can. I think that's what's so beautiful about
It's
being an
quite a lot.
artist.
It's quite a
it's
lot.
it is a lot.
I mean, I just feel like as an artist, we shouldn't define ourselves by one of the gifts we have. And I think also one of the things that I possess is I'm willing to try anything, even if I don't necessarily believe I can do it. I'm willing to give it a shot because I've learned in life, 9 times out of 10, I can learn to do whatever it is that is being asked of me. Like, for instance, one time I auditioned as a drag queen for Christina Aguilera to perform with her for one of her VMA performances. And I didn't get the job. And as I was leaving, I saw that they were also having auditions for contortionists. And I kind of knew what that was, but I also didn't really. So I
What?
went into the bathroom and I wiped off all my drag and I hopped in the line. And when I got up there, they were like, "Are you a contortionist?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
What?
And I ended up auditioning and getting the role. I was the only, at that time, male dancer to be in the piece. And I had like neon bright red hair. I stuck out like a sore thumb. You got to check out the video. It's literally like
Yeah,
Christina
I
That
can see
is
Aguilera and
that.
then me
crazy.
right behind her. But so that just goes to speak to this idea of I didn't know necessarily what a contortion was. I didn't know if I could do it, but I tried it and I believed in myself enough to convince the people who were auditioning me that I belonged there and that I was, in fact, a contortionist. So, yeah,
And you took your shot. Like that was
yeah,
so smart to not self-select. Like, all right, I'm already here.
right.
This other gig didn't work
There's
out, but
another
why would I
opening
not just
here.
go
Why
for it?
not?
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Love that.
again, I wouldn't say I do everything, but if you ask me to do it, I'll figure out a way.
Right. It's so funny because I was literally just listening to an interview with Gina Davis today
Love.
about on this podcast called How to Fail, which is so great. It's like people sharing things they failed at. And she had a very similar attitude that she learned all of these things and ended up becoming like an Olympic level archery
Oh,
person,
right.
artist. I don't know. Because she just tried it. Like she tried it for a part and was like, yeah, I can do that. I'll figure it out. And just that attitude of, okay, maybe I don't know it now, but I will figure it out. I'll make it work. I think that's great.
It's part of
Nothing
being a
beats a
star.
failure. Exactly. And nothing beats a failure but a try. So, I'm really big in just putting yourself out there. Worst comes to worst is you do fail, but at least you tried.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
Ganj, love,
Yes.
Ganj, Strange, my main frange. So can we back up a little bit? Because I love that
Yeah.
you brought up Kim Petras. And can we talk about 2021 and all the changes that you've gone through and
Sure.
how like you were an icon before, but now you're this whole nother kind of icon.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Definitely, for those who don't know what Candy is referencing, it's that during Corona, I came out as a trans woman. It's something that I've known, I think, for a really long time, but wasn't really able to articulate to others, and more importantly, accept within myself. And I
Mhm.
think Corona really allowed me to take a moment to breathe. Pretty much since I aired on RuPaul's Drag Race season 6 back in 2014, I have been nonstop working. I'm definitely a Capricorn. I have a lot of work driven energy. So, Corona was really the first time that I had to deal with myself and I had to deal with how I felt and not so much about how Laganja was doing in life. And with that came a lot of really interesting discoveries. For me, when my real hair grew out and touched the back of my neck, uh, it was a feeling of peace and a feeling of sort of coming home into my own body that I think for a long time I had denied. For many reasons. I think most importantly, growing up in Dallas, Texas, I didn't have a lot of education or representation. So I just didn't know what being trans was. I
Yeah.
think, secondly, again, because I grew up in Texas, there was this very much importance put on the fact that as a male, I needed to behave a certain way, and being feminine was going to potentially put me in harm's way. So I think for a long time, I sort of denied myself of my truth and denied myself of expressing myself how what really felt most authentic to me. So in Corona, I just felt like it was something that I could no longer hide and no longer face. And it's been a beautiful ride. You know, I chose to come out very publicly because I wanted people to see that trans isn't just perfectly surged passing dolls that we see on, you know, Pose, or that we see in Instagram, or that we see, you know, like a Kim Petras who transitioned, you know, at a very, very young age. In fact,
Right.
she was the, you know, the youngest to transition in her country
Right.
at the time. So I wanted people to see that, you know, there's different types of representations of trans. And more importantly, I wanted people to see my growth from beginning to, I don't really believe there's an end, but
No.
from the beginning to where I'm headed. And it's been really rewarding, I will say. It's come with a lot of intense moments as well. You know, like particularly at this last drag con, I had a lot of people coming up to me looking for not only support but for answers. And as
Oh.
someone who's really only lived the trans lifestyle openly for a year, you know, that was very intense for me because I want them to look up to me. I want to be able to be a beacon of hope, but also I need people to understand that this is still new for me too. And I'm still discovering and I'm still researching. And, you know, being a cannabis activist, that's taken me a long time. I've had many years to research the plant and to understand the difference between CBD and THC and how, you know, terpenes affect different results. And, you know, it took a long time to build that knowledge. And the same thing is going to be true with being a trans activist. You know, just because I announce this and am being public about it doesn't mean I necessarily, you know, am
Have
the
a
perfect
PhD in
activist.
it.
And
Right.
exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that has been difficult to navigate, but for the most part, you know, I just feel really, like I said, at home in my body, and I think people can really feel that from me. And I think ultimately, you know, going back on RuPaul's Drag Race as myself during the pandemic and showing the world my true colors, that really did not only a lot for my career, but it also did a lot for sort of the healing that I needed to do since season 6. Because, you know, after season 6, it was a pretty tumultuous ride for me. Not everybody was gung ho for the ganja, but I think after All Stars, I really solidified in a lot of people's minds, not only that I'm a great performer, but more importantly, that I've become a really good, strong person.
Do you think that comfort came from you just being so much more at ease with yourself and now just coming back, almost like shedding a layer of something you didn't need anymore, and that came through in the All Stars season?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think, you know, it really had much more to do with the work that I was doing behind closed doors than necessarily say All
Yeah.
Stars. And I think that's why All Stars was a success, is because I'd actually done the work required to get me to that point. But I definitely do feel like it's a shedding of baggage. And it's so
Yeah.
interesting because for so long, you know, I fought this and I didn't want to accept my femininity. And I felt like that would, you know, be harder. And in the end, while it has come with its difficulties, it's actually allowed me to breathe. And, you know, I'm honestly not smoking as much cannabis as I used to. And it's really kind of blown my mind to see like that I was actually using a lot to run from my true self. And now that I'm my true self, I don't feel the need to get blitzed all the time. And I'm actually engaging more in cannabis recreationally now than medicinally, because medicinally, you know, I'm on hormones and I'm seeing a therapist and I'm actually doing the required work I needed to do a long time ago.
You're not like self-medicating anymore, basically, because you don't need to.
I mean, you know, my perception and what I believe to be true about cannabis is that it is always going to have medicinal benefits, even if that isn't your intention in using it. But I would say that I am definitely I'm definitely less self-medicating than I was before, 100%.
Now I feel guilty. I feel like
Don't!
No, don't feel guilty.
Now Candy's the big stony stoner.
I know. Everyone's like, how is Laganja not going to smoke weed? I'm like, just because I'm not smoking all the time doesn't mean that I'm not an activist and doesn't mean that I don't believe in it. It just means that for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
I'm going through a new journey and I'm redefining my relationship with Miss Mary Jane.
Yeah, no, you could love almond milk. It doesn't mean that you want to drink almond milk all day every day.
That's right. That's right. As you drink almond milk.
Right? She's like, and here's a big swig
This
of
is
almond milk.
cream. It's full cream, honey, right in there. Some big
Ooh.
creamy cream. Now, I want to know. I want to know what you think about, because we did an episode on the history of drag. And in Hawaii, for instance, in the 80s, most of the drag scene in Hawaii was trans women. Like that was straight up, that was what it was. And I find that in different drag scenes, depending on where they are in the world, some seem to foster a lot of people that transition, and then some are more for this play acting kind of thing. And then, of course, there's just the world where they're all mixing up together. But tell me about that. I want to know what you think about basically the world of drag as a vehicle for transition.
Yeah, I think it's a very, interesting question because for me at least, drag definitely helped me to discover my truth as a trans woman. In the beginning, the reason I started drag is because it was a way for me to express my femininity, but at the same time be able for me to compartmentalize it and also make sense of it. Because at that time I was able to say, well, drag is my job. It's not who I am. It's just something I do. Like I'm not really like that. Like that's just something I do for fun, which obviously was me being in denial of who I truly am. But I didn't realize that at the time. And so at the time, it gave me an outlet to express who I really was and then put it away in a nice, neat box and not feel bad about it. Now, obviously, over the years, things really changed for me because in the beginning, I was Estranja. I wanted to be strange. I had giant feather lashes and, pasties with my flat chest. And it was definitely all about being more avant-garde. But as I got more and more into drag and became more and more successful, I geared towards being much more feminine presenting. And I think that eventually led to me discovering that that was my truth and that when now I do drag, I want to go even bigger and bolder because I think a lot of people, when they transition, then they decide that they are no longer drag queens and that they are showgirls. And while I understand and identify with that, that's not true for me. I am a trans woman who does full on drag. I love drag. I love big and bold and over the top. And I have no interest in being seen as a show girl.
Sorry, but I'm still learning about this whole world.
Sure.
So, what's the difference between a drag queen and a showgirl?
Good question. I'm not sure I have that answer.
It's kind of
I
a fuzzy line.
I think it's more of a term that makes people feel more comfortable about the art they're presenting. I think a lot of
Right.
time drag queen comes with a negative connotation or a connotation of clownetry, a connotation of a man dressed as a woman. And so I think for a lot of trans people, they are no longer able to identify with that word because they do not feel that. Their essence is of a Las Vegas showgirl. So a cis woman who puts on fabulous costumes, but that ultimately is still a woman underneath. Where I think a lot of
Right.
times
Okay.
when we use drag, people feel like, oh, well, that means that you are a man now pretending to or presenting as a woman.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But we live in a world where we're constantly being policed for our words. And so that's why I just say, look, call yourself what you want to call it. I think we should accept people for what they say they are. And, many of my trans girlfriends, they like showgirls. So, hey, they're showgirls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who am I to say and define? And, I've just learned for me that I still very much identify as a drag queen and I still very much identify as a trans woman. And I think you can be both.
Of course you can. If there can
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
bio queens, there could definitely be trans drag queens.
I agree.
So, apart from this project you're doing right now, what else you got going
Yeah, what's
on?
cooking?
Well, the project I'm on right now is really exciting. It is a brand new musical called Misstep, which is actually about a transgender woman who discovers that her estranged father was gay and that he was actually a world renowned aerobics champion.
What?
So, yes, and so
I
in
love that.
honoring she finds this out at his funeral. So to honor him, she decides to
Oh.
start her own team of, misfits, and they go to compete in the competition that he did not see through. So it's a really fun 80s pop synth musical with a lot of aerobics, competitive aerobics. So, there's the Jane Fonda, that's like the step touch. But what we're doing is like really intense
Oh my
competitive aerobics. So
god.
it's a lot of fun, and I'm co choreographing with an incredible man by the name of Connor Gallagher, who was actually, well, he's done many things, but he was most known recently for his choreography in Beetlejuice, the Tony
Oh,
nominated
yeah.
musical. So it's a real big honor to work with him. And it's also a real big honor to work with Kit and Melissa, who are the writers of the play, both people of color, and one who identifies as trans man and one who identifies as lesbian. So to be in the room with my peers and to be auditioning, like-minded and identifying people, it's a really special project. And we'll be presenting the work here in Seattle next year during February. But we're also working on the same musical with playwrights in New York, which is an incredible organization. They have produced many, many shows that have gone on to Broadway. So we're definitely keeping our fingers crossed that in 2025, Misstep will be making its Broadway debut, and then hopefully shortly after being nominated and winning the Tony for choreography.
Just put it out there. I love it.
We're
Yes.
You heard
definitely
it
putting
here
out there.
first.
We
Yes.
support
Absolutely.
that here.
Yes,
Thanks.
manifest.
Yes.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
How exciting to be in a part of it from the get-go, from the ground up, building it.
Exactly. The musical's actually been being written for the last 5 years. So there really is a
Wow.
lot of work that goes into creating an original musical. And, I've been so removed from this world since becoming a drag artist that it's been really incredible to get my toes wet. And of course, in such good company. So definitely looking forward to that. As I mentioned, I'm also really working on music. So my first ever EP, Daily Basis, will be dropping at the beginning of next year. And I'm looking to then take that on tour as a one woman sort of show, vibration with dancers. Because I've never really gotten a chance to do that. I've toured with the House of Edwards, I've toured with Work the World, but I've yet to really tour as Laganja Estranja presenting her original music. So definitely looking forward to that. And then I've also got a couple of projects that are, in the works. I did a film recently with Alaska Thunderfuck called God Save the Queens. So we're super excited for that. It just debuted at the Outfest this year, and we're hoping to get distribution next year. So, and I'm also in a web series right now called Open to It, which just debuted at its own website, opentoitseries.com. So very excited, just trying to keep these different projects going and keep all the tools in the toolbox well oiled.
You are
That
a
sounds so
marvel.
good. I
You
know,
really
right?
are.
Thank
I am
you.
just,
Completely.
you are a woman after my own heart. I love your just your work mentality. You know that we're from Texas too, right? All
I
of us.
Yeah, we
do.
both are.
I
Yeah.
do.
Did you grow up in Dallas, or somewhere
I
nearby?
actually grew up in Carrollton,
Oh, yeah.
but I went to
Okay.
high school in Dallas. So I just tell people Dallas because it just seems to be
It's so
easier.
much easier,
Yeah.
for
And you
sure.
went to
What
the
about
coveted.
y'all?
We both went to Wichita Falls High School.
Okay, my mom is from Wichita Falls.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Yeah.
Did I know? I
Small
must
world.
have known that. I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah. I was also going to say, I think, one of the reasons I was so drawn to you, Candy, was because of your tenacity and your creativity and the way that you're able to, be a multifaceted artist and not just a drag queen. And, I think that's why we really kind of found a kindred spirit with each other, is because we have that hustler mentality and that mentality of like, don't dream it, be it. And, furthermore, like create it, be the
Absolutely.
opportunity that you want to be.
And when I heard your music, like I was like, oh wait, like these rhymes, there's some deeper content here. And it's
Now, I
just,
didn't write my rhymes. Let's be clear. I hire writers, but
wait, is
thank
that
you.
true?
Yes. Oh, yes.
You are such a baller.
I mean, I definitely, influence the writers. I tell them the direction I want to go, the theme, maybe certain phrases. But ultimately, I'm not a writer. And I've always believed in partnerships and collaboration. I mean, that again goes back to my musical theater roots, right? The combination of singing and dancing and acting and pulling in set designers and costume designers. So I've always loved this idea of creating a house. And so I'm very lucky that I worked with, several writers, and most of my songs have been written by the same people.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
I love that.
Well,
Yeah.
we should collaborate on a
because-
track sometime.
Right?
Yes, I would love
Seeing it
that.
happen. We were talking earlier about just jumping in and doing things that maybe you don't know how to do yet and learning on the way down. But I think there's also a fine line between that and then knowing when to hire it out, just like you did. Like,
Yeah.
that is just not my thing right now.
Yeah.
That's not where I'm going to focus my energy. I might as well hire someone who that's what they do.
That's
I
what they
think that's so
specialize
smart.
in. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
None of us can do everything. It's like,
No.
being a drag queen too is kind of like being a witch. It's like
Yes.
there's every witch has her specialty. Some are potions, some are
Oh.
illusions, some are flying around on the broomstick. And
I thought you were going to say blowjobs, but yes.
I mean,
well, I mean, the origin of the broomstick in culture, like that comes from when women used to put psychedelic sauce on a broomstick and put it in their
What?
vagina, and they would ride the broomstick and fly on the broomstick because they were tripping out on psychedelics. This is real,
Oh my
guys.
God.
I'm not making this
But is
up.
that just like, is
I've
that just
never
some
heard
myth?
this.
No,
Is
this
that something like
no.
a Puritan man made up,
No,
or
I
is it actually?
I've looked this up. I have looked it up. I don't have it looked up right this minute, but I promise that it is a thing. And if it's not, we're going to get emails and they're going to let us know.
It's
But
gonna
it's
be now.
absolutely not. But it absolutely is, guys. That's where flying on a broomstick came from. But it doesn't
I will
discourage
never
me.
look at Halloween decoration in the same way ever
Right.
again.
Giving hocus pocus a whole new meaning, girl.
Yes.
It doesn't discourage me though, because I do still want to ride on a broomstick.
Who doesn't?
Anyway.
Candy, before we get too carried away on broomsticks, should we jump into the lightning round with Laganja?
Ooh, I'm
do
excited.
that. Let's do
I'm
that.
excited too.
Okay, so
Do you want to read them, Candy, or do you want me to?
Let's just take
What do you
turns.
want to do? Okay, let's go back and forth.
Okay.
You ready, Laganja?
I was born ready.
Awesome. Okay. What makes you smile?
Chips and salsa.
Oh, yes.
Who do you sometimes compare yourself to?
Oh gosh, I would say probably all the top drag queens. So Trixie Mattel, Katya, Alyssa, Shangela,
course.
The ones that are making the real money. I'm comparing myself to them for sure.
What life lesson did you learn the hard way?
Do not drink and drive.
Ooh,
Oh,
good one.
It was a hard one to learn and a very expensive one, I must admit, because I was in California. Had I been in Texas, I would have got a slap on the wrist. But yeah, no, it was definitely a difficult one to learn, but I'm very grateful that I learned it because it's truly one of the most selfish things you can do, especially now that we live in the day and age of Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the most desirable trait another person can possess?
Money.
The trait of money. The
No.
trait of being rich.
No, I'm kidding.
The money trait.
No, I would say I think the trait of kindness. I think I really respect kindness the most. I think I try to lead by kindness myself, but also when looking, for a friendship or a partnership, definitely looking for someone with a kind heart. Compassion
Yes.
is really important to me.
I hear that.
I-
What's a bad habit you're trying to break?
Smoking cigarettes.
Oh,
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it's a bad one.
it's tough, but you will do it. There's going to be a thing. There's all these doors that you're traveling through in your mind, and there's going to be this one door that you're going to open, and then you're going to be like, "That's the door.
That's
The
right.
door. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
That's the door. I don't need it anymore. That's the door. Whore." So
Knock 3 times, do on the ceiling if you want me. Hey.
okay, so what is the best present you've ever received?
Probably my Versace backpack from Heidi Klum.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
pretty good.
pretty amazing. It was for my birthday, and it's
Oh.
beautiful.
Oh,
It was a pretty amazing gift.
All right. If you could only have 3 things on your life bucket list, what would they be?
Oh gosh. Okay, 3 things on my life bucket list. Well, my main goal in life is to have my own dance company that I am the artistic director of.
Ooh.
So that's definitely one thing on my bucket list. Having an infinity pool that overlooks the ocean, preferably
Ooh.
in Malibu or Hawaii or both.
Oh, come to Hawaii.
And then third bucket list thing is to probably smoke and make a track with Missy Elliott.
Oh,
Oh my God.
that
And the dance and choreograph it.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
that is so perfect. That would be
yes.
such a perfect pairing.
It's a great list.
One day it's gonna happen.
I can think of other people I might pair you with too, like Snoop Dogg. I can definitely see a Laganja Snoop Dogg collab.
Me too. Trust me, it's in the works.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I've been working on that one for years.
I
One day.
love those. Those were great. Okay, switching gears, what is your favorite karaoke song?
Oh, "Work It" by Missy Elliott.
Oh,
speak of the devil.
Yeah,
Let
right?
me work it. Let me work it.
I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. Is your feminist fine yet? Is your feminist fine yet? Do you know what that actually is?
No, what are they saying? What are you saying?
It's "Is your pussy really that wet?" reversed.
It's like
Oh.
I thought maybe it was reversed, but I didn't know that that's what it was saying in reverse.
Is your pussy really that wet? Uh-huh.
I love
I
that
wonder
you
if
are
Michelle
able-
Obama knew that when she was doing carpool karaoke. Did she know that? Like, did Barack tell her, girl, that's what it really says? She's like,
No.
I have a feeling Michelle's in and knows it. Yeah.
She probably knows. She probably
I
knows.
could see
Michelle's cool, for sure.
She's
She
cool.
absolutely is.
She's cool.
Okay, which flavor? My turn.
Oh,
think,
hard
yeah.
hitting question next. Yeah, so brace
I know. I
Brace-
got to get this in here.
brace yourself.
Which flavor of ice cream best represents you?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go with Bluebell's banana pudding.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yum,
It's
and
creamy.
So southern.
It's creamy. It's southern. It's got surprise wafers in there. It's got a soft yellow, inviting color. It's rich in taste, but easy to afford. I just think it's me. I think it's me.
She thought about this one. Oh my
did.
God, I love that.
I may or may not have peeked at these questions that you sent before. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Well, you told me it was a rapid round, so I thought I was going to have to answer much quicker.
Oh,
It's supposed to be rapid.
we're
just not
try
good
to
at
be
being
rapid.
rapid.
We're doing the stoner rapid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, this is fast for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would you choose to narrate your life?
So this is a hard one for me because naturally I'm drawn to a Tilda Swinton because I feel like she's
Ooh.
very similar in aesthetic and vibe, and I think she has a really calm, interesting voice. But I also
Yes.
could see someone like JVN or Johnny Weir, someone really over the top. I could also see them narrating my childhood and my existence as a gay man. I could very much see them maybe maybe a dual part. It would be one of them for the first part of my life and then Tilda Swinton for now.
Oh my God. No, the Johnny Weir is a stroke of genius, actually. And
Love
but
him.
but he would do it like very seriously, like
I think so, right.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think he could be good for the whole damn thing. I think
Okay.
there might be there's
Something there.
There's something there.
I'll talk to him.
Oh,
I'll see what he
good, good.
says.
Thank
Please.
I'll
you,
let y'all know.
Leslie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll
Yeah.
let you know. Get
Put us
back
in
to you.
touch.
Describe the plot of your favorite movie using only 4 words.
Okay. Beauty pageant. Ugh,
No.
I'm not being very rapid, sorry. Beauty
okay.
pageant.
I thought the video froze.
Oh no, I was just thinking beauty pageant, beer can, tap dance, and Barbara Streisand.
I love how
Oh,
all
is
of
this
yours are dual words. They're all dual
Are they?
words.
What does that
Yeah.
mean, dual words?
Well, they're both
like compound words?
compound words.
Oh,
Beauty
okay.
pageant.
Beauty pageant.
Beer can, tap dance,
Tap dance.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand. Are these
Barbra
2 different
Streisand.
movies?
No, it's one movie.
I was thinking Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah!
Yes. But Barbara Streisand, I don't remember that part.
Brittany Murphy's gay brother dresses as Barbara.
Oh, that's right.
She's showing all the pictures and then she goes, and my favorite, Barbara.
That's right. I gotta go back and watch that movie.
It's one of my favorites of all time. It's between that and First Wives Club, for sure.
Oh,
That movie
love
was
First
so
Wives
underrated.
Which one?
Well, I think Drop Dead Gorgeous because I feel like
Because First Wives
First
Club has a
Wives
cult
Club.
following, yeah.
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, no, Drop Dead Gorgeous, Kirsten Dunst, Kirsten Alley, I mean, Brittany Murphy. It was such a cat. Ellen Birkin.
And
Yeah.
Amy Adams. She's like a young Amy Adams in
wait,
it.
is that the one where
No. Amy Adams? Who does she play?
She's the kind of ditzy cheerleader type that finds out she's pregnant.
That was Amy Adams?
Yes.
Wow, I never realized that. The one who's all...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm wrong.
No,
People
I
will
think
tell me if
I
I'm
think you
wrong,
could
but-
be right. And also, I love Allison Channing. She's amazing too.
Oh yeah.
So good. It's a great movie.
Wow. Okay, so
I think that's about it.
I
Cameron.
did
We
it.
gotta let her go.
I did all the rapid questions.
You did all the rapid questions. You
Amazing.
passed with flying colors.
Thank you.
thank
Well,
you
I'm so glad I got a
much.
chance to chat with both of you.
It was
Thank
great
you.
to meet
It
you,
was-
and we're so glad to have you on.
Absolutely.
and I hope that I know that you have to run to your next engagement, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening. And I just adore you, and I'm so happy to see your face.
Well, thank you. I love you so much. And definitely just want to make sure listeners check out my Day in the Life series, which is on my YouTube. It comes out every Thursday at 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. I highly suggest you check out the hour-long Hawaii vacation vlog where you actually see Miss Candy Shell perform.
Ooh.
And yeah, thanks again for just having me on and giving me a chance to chat and tell my story.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. We adore you.
Candy, did you get your pen back out?
I just one in the beginning and one in the middle, and I felt like I should finish strong.
You just had to
Stone.
bookend it.
Yeah,
Yes.
bookend it, but also with pages in the book.
That was so fun. I'm so excited that she was our first guest, and
I know.
she's so interesting. She's a girl after our own hearts.
Total. Like, I don't think we could have had a better first time guest. Honestly.
No.
She's a freaking star, guys. She's an LGBTQ star. Boom.
Icon,
Icon.
not just a star.
Not just a star, an icon. An iconic star. So, I had some things to talk about coming into our seeing each other again, but they just sort of pale in comparison now that we've talked to Laganja.
No.
I'm like, well, and I did that little play thing, and
No, that's good. And you know what? We need to talk about that because we forgot to do keep making shit with her. Although she told us
Oh.
all the shit she was making. So,
yeah.
but we need to do keep making shit with us. I'm going to pause for the music.
You better make it.
You made something incredible, and I want to hear about it.
I was in a show that I co-wrote with the director. It was a symphony show at the Hawaii Theater, which is this beautiful 100-year-old theater that is completely refurbished and just gorgeous.
I
Just
saw
so
from the
stunning
pictures, it looked incredible. Just
and
such a
just
beautiful
and
building.
feels like you've gone back in time.
Mm.
And it was a show with the symphony and some of my good friends who are also renowned performers. There were two singing divas, Leah Almanza and Star Kalahiki. And then there was Laritza Labouche, who is a drag queen, but also like a concert pianist who did an entire Mozart concerto, which is like, it
That's
had like
legit.
it had like 3 parts to it. It was nearly a half hour long, and
Wow.
with her just like, wow, not my
That's
talent.
so cool.
Yeah,
Not your
and,
talent, but you can admire it.
I can definitely admire it. No, and then we also had Brandy Lee, who is this kind of local legend, but also a world-renowned drag performer who is trans, and she's 80 years old. She's been performing as a drag queen for 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
She
she
probably couldn't even believe like this absolutely would not have happened
no,
back in her day when she was getting
absolutely
started.
certainly not. It was a beautiful show with music, but I was like the MC and the comic relief, basically. At one point, my shoes flew off.
Oh, your shoes flew off.
They shot when I was like running off stage. I was wearing these very tall platform shoes with these like little thin spiky heels, and I was running, and it was like there was a wobble, and then one like shot into the audience, like it shot back and off the edge of the stage and down the little steps at the edge of the stage. And
So it
then
didn't hit anyone. It just went down the stairs.
no, 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 no.
Okay, good.
And then the other one like went onto the stage and like into the orchestra. And I just kept running. I was just like, "Oh, oh, oh," and like jumped and leapt and kept going backstage and changed and got into my next outfit.
It's like I don't have time for the shoes. Just keep going.
If you count what I wore to the after party, I probably changed 9 times.
Oh my gosh. But how fun. Like chaotic fun, but fun.
So fun. And I
Mm,
friggin' remembered all my bits. That was the scariest part for me, is that I would forget.
that's a lot to remember. That's so awesome. You made some awesome
Thank
shit
you.
this week.
I made shit.
Well, I'm going to contrast that with a tiny little thing that I made, but I still made it. And it was something a little out of my comfort zone. So, my youngest daughter, at her school every year, they do this thing called Ghosts of the Past, and they have to choose a historical figure from the past to represent. And they dress up as them and they do all this research on them. And they're kind of like, they present a living museum for the parents to come see. So, it's actually going to be tomorrow. So today, right before recording this, we're trying to put together her outfit, and she's Susan B. Anthony. So we're trying to go around and figure out how to piece together a Susan B. Anthony costume. And of course, she just wants to buy it. And I'm like, no, 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 let's figure this out. So we found a dress, an old Halloween costume that she could wear. I was like, all right, that'll work. And she's like, but what about the thing, like the collar, and it's all lacy and it looks kind of like RBG, because she knows who Ruth Bader Ginsburg is now,
Oh,
which
I
I
love
love,
that. And calls her RBG.
and calls her RBG like they're BFFs. And I was like, I think maybe a doily would work. And she was like, what's a doily? We had to go through that. So I went and got some from the grocery store. They had some. And I cut it, I cut out the middle so that we could use it like a collar,
Right.
and it's going to work. It looks awesome. Which, look,
Aw.
I know talking to an artist, that seems like nothing, but that is not,
Not at
I'm
all.
just not craftsy. I can do a lot of performing arts. I can sing, I can write, dance, all that. But crafty kind of stuff, it's not my thing. So I felt so proud that she's gonna look legit.
No, I think that kind of ingenuity is exactly what you need for drag, especially when you're doing drag in the club and you're having to think of new stuff to do on the regular. It's like, yeah, you might need to turn a doily into a neck piece.
Mm-hmm. And all I want to know is, can you please do Susan B. Anthony for your next drag gig?
Just
I mean,
on a coin.
yeah, with a very stern look and glasses, like wire-rimmed glasses.
Wait, does she have glasses?
I think she did. She had round,
She was on a coin, right? She's on the Susan B. Anthony.
That sounds right. So let's go with
$silver.
yes. Yeah, I think that's right.
She's got Susan B. Anthony's silver dollar nipples.
She absolutely does. How do you think they came up with putting her on that?
Exactly.
They were going to put her on the penny, and they're like, no.
And she was like, check out these babies.
And they're like, oh shit, silver dollars.
No, and they just held them up very scientifically, and they were like, oh, no, it checks out. Okay.
This tracks.
All right, Susan.
Have it your way.
Patriarchy be damned. We're putting you on the silver dollar.
And she never cracked a smile the whole time. She just
No,
had that
she
very
never
stern,
did. She
19th
never
century.
did.
Well, we need to tell people before we go that we want to hear the shit that they've made. And they need to write us and tell us all about it.
It's also about you guys, because without you guys, we're just talking into a void. We're just talking to hear ourselves talk, which clearly we will do that. But
we will do
it. We'd like to talk to you. Melissa.
Yeah, we want to hear. We want to hear what you're making. Let us know. You can write us at leslieandthedragqueen@gmail.com or on any of our socials. Even on Elon Musk's Twitter. We're still there hanging on.
By a thread, Elon. By a thread. Well, it sure was fun. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
I had a blast. I learned so much.
Yes, me too. I can't wait to see who's next on this little crazy experiment of ours.
I know. I'm going to go see if there's any peanut butter pretzels left in the cupboard.
No reason. No reason.
Just want to check and see if they're there.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Enjoying the show? Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Help us spread the word by rating and reviewing the show. And tell a friend while you're at it. Got a story for the humiliation station or for our Keep Making Shit segment? Send it to us at leslieandthedragqueen@gmail.com or on any of our socials, and you could be featured on an upcoming episode. You can find Leslie and the Drag Queen on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.